Hello, good evening and welcome to JoyNews Prime. We are coming to you live from our studios here at Kukumlimle. We're also live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, around the world on myjoyonline.com. I am Pius Kojobaka. A look now in our headlines. President Mahama hails rapid economic recovery as IMF cites Ghana as model for Africa and pledges continued support for local firms to drive growth and job creation. We have details from the First Sky Group as they mark 23 years of service in Ghana. Also in this bulletin, NDC sees strong internal contest ahead of Ayawaso East by-election as 6 aspirants, including the late MP's wife, pick nomination forms. Meanwhile, attention remains as the Supreme Court ruling on Pandai parliamentary rerun set for January 28. Plus, Ashaiman faces a looming health threat as filth engulfs the city. Member of Parliament Ernest Nogbe blames the poor sanitation on residents' attitudes.
And when we continue like this, one day, when there's an outbreak of a disease, cholera, it will be very difficult for us to manage.
We are JoyNews, independent, fearless, and credible. Please stay tuned in. Thanks so much for staying on. A look now at our stories. President John Mahama says Ghana's economic comeback shocked the International Monetary Fund, admitting he expected results only after 2 years, not within a single year. He says the stability of the cedi and the broader improvement in the economy within just 12 months is unprecedented, to the extent that the International Monetary Fund is now citing Ghana as a positive example for other African countries. The president was speaking as a special guest at the 23rd anniversary and Thanksgiving service of the First Sky Group at the Accra International Conference Center. More in this report.
Ghana's economic recovery is attracting international attention, with the International Monetary Fund citing the country as a positive example for other African economies. The president says his government will continue to support local companies as part of efforts to boost the nation's gross national product, create jobs, and strengthen the domestic economy. Speaking at the event, President John Mahama said even his administration had been surprised by the pace of the economic rebound. He explained that while government worked to stabilize the economy, the expectation had been that the turnaround would take at least 2 years rather than 1.
In my own imagination, I thought that we'll need about 2 years to begin to see a turnaround. That's what I thought. But Ebenezer, this is how far God has brought us. We're all surprised and shocked at the quick turnaround. Anytime I meet the IMF officials and the World Bank officials, they themselves cannot believe, what has happened in Ghana. So Ghana has now become the poster boy, of the IMF and the World Bank.
The president said his administration would continue to support local companies, stressing that firms in the construction sector, including First Sky Construction, remain critical to growing the economy and expanding Ghana's gross national product.
So always when we talk about economy, we talk about GDP. Our GDP has grown, our GDP has grown. No, we must grow our GMP. And the only way we can grow our GMP is to support indigenous companies like First Sky.
Chief Executive Officer of the First Sky Group, Apostle Eric Sede Kutoche, praised the government for granting one of its subsidiaries, First Sky Construction, a role in the Big Push initiative.
We are grateful that under this vision, the First Sky Construction has been entrusted as a partner based on the recognition of capacity and competence. And we say thank you, His Excellency.
He further noted that sustained government support for local enterprises has contributed significantly to the growth of the First Sky Group, which now employs more than 6,000 people across the country.
We have grown this far because Ghana chose to believe in the Ghanaian capacity. We have endured because this nation created a space for local enterprise to compete.
The service reflected on First Sky's 23-year journey, tracing its growth from a small local business into a diversified Ghanaian conglomerate with interest in construction, energy, financial services and logistics, and reaffirmed the group's commitment to job creation and national development. President John Mahama, together with senior government officials and clergy, joined hundreds of staff of the First Sky Group and members of the public at the Accra International Conference Center for the company's 23rd anniversary and annual Thanksgiving service. For Joy News, Fatau Bayaga, Accra.
The governing National Democratic Congress has recorded strong internal interest ahead of the upcoming Ayawaso East by-election, with 6 aspirants picking nomination forms to contest the party slot. More in this report. The race to succeed the late Member of Parliament for Ayawaso East, Muhammad Nasir Ture, has officially ignited as 6 high-profile candidates, including the late MP's widow, Hajia Amina Adam, picked up nomination forms to contest the National Democratic Congress primary. The seat became vacant following the sudden demise of Nasir Ture in early January 2026, triggering a by-election scheduled for Tuesday, 3rd March 2026. For the NDC, Ayawaso East is more than a constituency. It is an impenetrable Zongo fortress that has never fallen to the opposition since the 1992 democratic transition. Haji Amina Adams' entry into the race has sent ripples through the Nima and Mambubi corridors. While some view her candidacy through the lens of a sympathy vote, her aides insist her move is purely mission-driven. According to her team, the decision was not a personal ambition, but a response to overwhelming pressure from community elders and women's groups who wished to see her continue her late husband's social interventions. She is positioning herself as a servant of the people, aiming to leverage her intimate knowledge of the constituency needs. Facing off against the widow is a political heavyweight, Baba Jamal Mohammed Ahmed, currently serving as Ghana's ambassador to Nigeria. The veteran politician and legal practitioner is framing his run as a return to his roots. Despite his famous historical ties to the Akwatia constituency, Baba Jamal reminded supporters that he was born and raised in Nima. In the 2024 NDC primary, he gave the late Nasir Ture a run for his money, pulling 525 votes against the incumbent 675. The NDC Greater Accra Regional Secretary, Theophilus Tetechai, confirmed there are other male aspirants. Dr. Yakubu Azindo, a perennial contender who pulled 215 votes in the 2024 primary. Mohammed Ramni, a grassroots mobilizer. Mohammed Abdul Salam, known locally as Abdul Salam Daru, represented the youth wing, and Najib Mohammed Sani, a rising star in constituency's intellectual circles. Meanwhile, national political attention is also focused on the judiciary as the Supreme Court of Ghana is expected to deliver its ruling on the Pandai parliamentary run on Wednesday, January 28, 2026. Now, the Secretary of the 2025 Constitutional Review Committee has outlined proposals to remove the Attorney General's authority to prosecute corruption and corruption-related offences, as well as RAJ's investigative mandate in such cases. Under the proposals, an independent anti-corruption and ethics commission will be established under the Constitution with exclusive powers to investigate and prosecute corruption. Speaking on the law on Joy News, the Secretary, Dr. Reina Akumbagere, said the Attorney General is already overburdened with responsibilities, making it difficult to effectively handle corruption cases.
Exercise of that power by the OSP is not exclusive, insofar as even the OSP Act itself makes reference to the Constitution, because the AG, insofar as Article 88 is concerned, is still the one that determines whether or not a matter is prosecuted or not prosecuted and all of those things. So we are proposing that we set up an anti-corruption and ethics commission. Anti-corruption and ethics commission, because the matters are not necessarily always corruption. They also contain some ethical issues. That's why even the Constitution itself, if you look at the chapter that deals with these declarations, this is headed Code of Conduct for Public Officers. That's right. So we are mirroring this and making sure that we are merging them to ensure that we give this. So this body, this Anti-Corruption and Ethics Commission, will be a constitutional body that has exclusive jurisdiction to prosecute offenses related to corruption.
The Attorney General will no longer have that power.
No, because I will soon tell you why that is so, because the Attorney General has too many other things that it can do. In fact, its table and its cap is already full, and it can do so without having to, so there shouldn't be any problem.
All right.
Now, another thing will happen, and that is Shiraj. Chirach investigative powers under Article, I think, 218C or so, or E, will be taken away and given to this Anti-Corruption and Ethics Commission.
All right.
He also explained proposals to restrict the use of nolle prosequi, saying it should only be granted with the leave of the court. According to him, this would ensure that decisions to discontinue cases are guided by public interest and judicial discretion.
The other recommendation we are making is to, in respect of the nolle prosequi, right, which is the discretion of the Attorney General to discontinue a matter that it has commenced in our courts, criminal matter that has commenced.
Without giving reasons.
Without giving reasons. Our recommendation is that because corruption-related matters are such public interest matters, that
we've got to tell you about what the Secretary of the Attorney General's has been speaking about, and he also explained proposals to restrict the use of nolle prosequi, saying it should only be granted with the leave of the court. Let's take a listen to him.
The other recommendation we are making is to, in respect of the nolle prosequi, right, which is the discretion of the Attorney General to discontinue a matter that it has commenced in our courts, criminal matter that has commenced.
Without giving reasons.
Without giving reasons. Our recommendation is that because corruption-related matters are such public interest matters, they're driven by public sentiments and the need for public to actually know why you would commence a matter, it's only by leave of court that the Attorney General may discontinue a matter that it has commenced prosecution, and that it cannot do so without leave of court. That's a
for the Attorney General.
For the Attorney General.
Okay.
Now that we are taking it, so that provision will apply to anybody or any institution. So whether you are the Anti-Corruption Ethics Commission or the AG, which means you go by motion, not so.
Yes.
And justify why you want to discontinue the matter. That's part of the recommendation.
Yes.
To give that reason that they voluntarily have volunteered to the public, they should send it to court for judicial discretion to be exercised on the matter, whether I should continue or not.
So that a judge will be entitled to say, you want to terminate this case. I disagree, you will not terminate it.
Or the basis for your reasons or your justification for discontinuing is not properly laid, or has no foundation, or is not in the public interest. And judicial discretion will now determine whether or not the discontinuance or...
To one of our top stories, Ashaiman is facing a looming public health threat as mountains of refuse and choked gutters heighten fears of a disease outbreak in the densely populated municipality. The concern persists despite 6 days of intensive cleanup exercise that uncovered tons of waste at the main market, with Member of Parliament Ernest Nogbe blaming the poor sanitation habits and residents' attitudes for the recurring filth. Kwame Yanka has more.
Mountains of refuse and choked gutters continue to define the Ashaiman market and other parts of the municipality despite repeated cleanup exercises. Authorities say sanitation remains a government priority, with regular directives for metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to clean public spaces. But just 6 weeks after the last cleanup, tons of garbage have returned, raising serious health concerns. Member of Parliament for Ashaiman, Ernest Nogbe, warns that living and trading in such filthy conditions is a health time bomb.
And when we continue like this, one day, when there's an outbreak of a disease, cholera, it will be very difficult for us to manage. And already we are populated. I mean, when I say we are populated, I'm talking of densely. And so therefore, the little, health issues, challenge that we will face will escalate. And these are some of the things that can create those environments for all of us. I'll just say that the residents, our market women, everybody should be careful. We should just be that kind of, citizens. We should not just be spectators. We should be citizens and do the right things.
Ashaiman faces mounting pressure from traders coming in daily from neighboring communities, but Municipal Chief Executive Freeman insists the Assembly has stepped up its response.
What we know Ashaiman has a population of over 300,000. And we also have traders who come to Ashaiman to trade on daily basis from Dawenya, Ningo Pram Pram, Medina, Adan, and all the adjoining communities. If they are all coming to Ashaiman to trade, then you expect that they will create a lot of volume of refuse. So, two things that we have noted significantly, which we have started solving. In the last year, we procured 10 skip containers because we know that the volume of refuse are going high. We are now trying to create sites that will locate all of them so that the people can be putting the refuse in the containers rather than putting it in the median and all the other places. Then also, we have realized that the volume of refuse we do on weekly basis, the weekly sanitation is not enough. So we've taken another measure to write letters to all the shop operators by the streets so that we get them committed, and then we can enforce the Operation Clean Your Frontage bylaw.
Meanwhile, traders are happy to have taken part in the exercise.
So I saw vegetables, carrot, cabbage. So I have to, once we are cleaning Ghana and where I sell, I have to support it. So I'm happy.
Taking part in this is for our collective good. Being in such an environment threatens our health, but this exercise will help mitigate it. I took part because just look at the gutters. They have become breeding grounds for mosquitoes.
Very bad.
I suggest the government provides larger containers to help with the collection and dumping. Authorities insist the cleanup will continue, but the fight for health and hygiene will fail if residents keep looking the other way. From Ashaiman, this has been Kwame Yanka for Joy News.
Hello again, welcome back to JoyNews Prime. Now, for years, darkness shaped daily life for hundreds of residents in Nigeria. Farming became difficult, movement unsafe, and independence slowly slipped away. This week, hope returned as more than 500 people underwent free cataract surgery, offering many a chance to see clearly again and rebuild their lives. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
Laughter and smiles filled the corridors of the Ijura Government Hospital for many residents. This moment marked the end of years of darkness. Some had lived without clear sight for more than 5 years. They struggled to walk freely, and to live independently. Today, hope has returned. Over 500 residents in the Ijura Dumasi municipality have received free cataract surgery, offering them a chance at a better life.
I see everything here. Everybody is here.
Richard Yelibie, a senior chief officer at the Ijura Camp Prison, had lived with cataract for years. Today, his sight is back.
But I couldn't see anything. It was very blurred. Very, very blurred. I thank God very much for this project. May God bless the MP and the doctors.
Especially, I have Bedouin, and I'm going to give a good account of this to him. I'll give him a political pass for doing this.
The surgeries were carried out by specialists from the Daybreak Vision Project. Here is Dr. Akwasi Ahmed.
So our mission is to provide sight-restoring cataract surgeries for patients needlessly blind from cataract. In Ijura here, there's no ophthalmologist. This hospital has only 2 ophthalmic nurses. And so we understand that the burden of cataract blindness is very high.
Member of Parliament for Ijura Dumasi Municipality, Bawa Mohammed Brema, says the intervention was necessary.
Once it's a curable disease or it is something that surgery can take out, then we have to support to ensure that we restore sight to our people. So, and that is why we supported We sponsored the screening, created awareness, did the announcement on radio, and then also ensured that the assembly members and everybody got involved.
Thanks so much for watching JoyNews Prime. I am Pius Kojobaka. For more stories, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Grateful serving you. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.